dragged from his vehicle by the officers and hit several times with a stun gun before being handcuffed, put in a chokehold, and punched in the face repeatedly. After the assault, Greene is left face down on the ground for more than 9 minutes without a single officer providing any medical aid. The initial state police report made no mention of force being used by the officers during Greene's arrest. Greene's family had initially been told that he died from injuries sustained from a car crash due to a high-speed chase stemming from a traffic violation. This contradiction between video footage and official police reports appears to be endemic. In the killing of 12-year-old Tamir Rice, the initial police report stated that Officer Timothy Lohman shouted multiple commands for Rice to show his hands before shooting and killing him. In contrast, the surveillance video of Rice's death shows that the officer shot Rice within 2 seconds of pulling up to the scene in his patrol car. Now, I want you to do something for me right now, at home, in your own home. See if you can tell someone to do something 3 times in less than 2 seconds. I'll give you 2 seconds is up. You didn't make it, did you? It's impossible to do. In the case of George Floyd, initial police reports stated that Floyd died after he physically resisted officers, but officers were able to get Floyd in handcuffs. It was then that officers noticed that Floyd was going into medical distress. The report made no mention whatsoever of Derek Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck. It is outrageous what is happening. Joining us to discuss the discrepancies we see between police reports and video evidence is co-founder and CEO of the Center for Policing Equity, Dr. Phillip Atiba Goff. Dr. Goff, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Charles.
So in these high-profile cases, I was trying to find or remember one where the actual written account matched up to the video that we eventually saw. I couldn't think of any. Do you know of any where they match?
Yeah, I'm sure there are a number where they do match. The issue is, remember, we're seeing this video 2 years after this man was taken off of this earth. And the same way we saw the Laquan McDonald video, how many months after Laquan McDonald was taken off this earth? And the same way that we're still waiting for the Andrew Brown Jr. video, even though the DA has decided that killing was justified, despite and over the loud objections of the family who has seen the video. I think at this point it's unreasonable for law enforcement. They're just going to take their word for it, given how many times we've gotten the word and then seen what they do. I mean, Baldwin said it. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do, and we're seeing what they do time after time after time after time.
See, this is dangerous to me because it seems to me that it trains the public not to believe you. Because this is not just something you said in passing. This is the written report. This is the record. If there was no video, this would be the record. These reports go to court, right? So this is the police position on what happened. When that turns out again and again not to be true, it says to the public, I can't trust you. And when I can't trust you, that means there are fewer black people who want to become part of a group of people that they know they can't trust. It means that black people are less likely to call the police because they know they can't trust them, because they've been seeing over and over, you will write something down that is at odds with the facts on the ground. How damaging is it for black people to continuously see that what they are writing is not the truth and faithful to what is actually happening in front of them, what they're engaged in?
It's incredibly damaging to know that representatives of the state can lie and get away with it. I want to add one extra consequence, which is that in a community where everybody knows you're not going to call the cops, you know who really likes that? People who like to do things where cops are not around. It creates incredible risk to actual public safety. And the other piece I want people to understand, it'd be one thing if it were one person. Because then you can point and say, that person is a liar. That person should be off the force. That's that one bad apple. But in so many cases, it's 3 or 4 or 5 folks who were there, and they all managed to have the exact same story that is completely untethered to the video evidence. That's not just, I felt pressured, and so I felt like I had to lie. that becomes very quickly a conspiracy to defraud the public trust. That's what we're talking about here. It's not even just one incident or one person. This is a group of folks all armed in your neighborhood lying on the character of a person who cannot defend themselves.
And so doesn't this just add to the case that people are making that this system of policing cannot be trusted to cure itself? It can't learn its way out of this, that the system itself is so corrupt that it can't police itself?
Yeah, I think anytime you're asking for folks who have unchecked power to police themselves, then you're asking to have your feelings hurt, right? So if we want the big banks to regulate themselves, make sure that poverty isn't a thing, how's that working out for us? Right? We want politicians to regulate themselves in terms of what kind of money they're going to take. How's that working out for us? And now we want folks who we give the only folks we give the authority to take away both life and liberty. And by the way, would you investigate yourselves when we're not sure whether or not you did? How's that going to work out? Like, that was on its face was going to be ridiculous. But to your broader point, we have had these systems in place for long enough to understand that they're not broken. They're working exactly as intended. And so what we need to be doing is replacing them with systems that center the value of Black life. That's the end of it. We shouldn't be talking about trying to make this system only more aligned with our values. We should be talking about creating the systems that never got stood up from the time of emancipation through Jim and Jane Crow, through Reaganomics, the systems that never got stood up to center Black life, because policing was never stood up to do that. It was originated to do quite the opposite, and everybody doing good work in law enforcement is going against that original grain.
So I know there are, different police departments, different municipalities, different rules, generally speaking, but generally, what is the punishment, or is there a punishment when we come to find out that these police reports are wrong? What happens to the officer?
It really does depend on the individual jurisdiction. In some places, they'll go into arbitration. Arbitration looks at the full record. They get character witnesses. And usually the union contract in those contexts makes it very difficult to get rid of those officers. I can't tell you the number of chiefs who have called me. They've just fired 2 or 3. In the case of Philadelphia, 6 officers, and they get right back on the force. But I want to be clear. If you want to be a leader in law enforcement, you can just make a rule. In Salt Lake City, the chief there a number of years ago made a rule, says, if I found out you lied to me, that's it. You're fired. Because it was set up, that was it. If you lied, you were fired. And it doesn't need to be 2 portions about it. I don't understand why folks want to hem and haw about collective bargaining when all you need to do is put a rule into place and say, we're not negotiating on this anymore. And I got to say, mayors and city councils, you can back up a police chief who wants to have a rule like that. If we back them up, it'd be a little bit easier to get that done. But even so, this last piece, there's nothing we can do after the fact that's going to fix what just happened. It doesn't create enough of a deterrent by a mile. We got to stop putting law enforcement in the situations where they are escalating simply by dint of their presence. So yes, we can get accountability. We can get it a little bit more simply if law enforcement executives would just create the rules. But I'm telling you, there's no way we're all the way out of this until we stop sending law enforcement into spaces they shouldn't be in the first place.
So last question for you. It seems to me that there's also a culture of language here. When I look at, or when I read these police reports, it seems like they're trained to include certain kinds of phrases that would cover certain sorts of things. And when those things turn out to not be true, you realize like, oh wait, this must have been this is how you cover a certain thing if you need language to provide cover. Is that kind of what's happening here? Is that why they read alike?
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason they read alike is because they're reading from the same hymnal. Right, so we saw it not just from law enforcement reports, but when the DA announced that the killing of Andrew Brown Jr. in Elizabeth City was justified, what he said, because the actions of the deceased reasonably put the officers in fear for their life. Right, that's almost chapter and verse of the statute that you would need to make the decision based off of. Right, so that's not an accident. It can't possibly be an accident. And if when we see the final video, we say, well, that's untethered to reality, then the only conclusion you can have is they understood the consequences and they told a story that would get the outcomes that they wanted.
Dr. Goff, thank you so much for your time. It is absolutely infuriating to me to see this happen over and over again and to realize that it's in writing that they are wrong over and over again. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on and explaining this and clearing this up for us. After this quick break, we'll dive into the allyship between BLM and Palestinians.